The year was 2087, and space wasn't as empty as everyone once thought. Alex Rodriguez wiped the sweat from his forehead as he stared at the massive ship floating in the darkness ahead. At 19, he was the youngest soldier on the Earth's defense, vessel Starlight, and right now, he wished he was back home playing video games instead of facing whatever was inside that alien craft. "Holy smokes," whispered Captain Johnson, her voice crackling through the comm system. "That thing's bigger than 3 of our ships put together." The alien vessel looked nothing like human technology. It was sleek and curved, almost alive, with strange patterns of light flowing across its surface like veins carrying liquid starlight. But something was wrong. Parts of it were dark, and there were ugly scars along its hull where weapons had torn through the metal. "Looks like they've been in a fight," said Dr. Williams, the ship's science officer. "Those are definitely weapon marks. Someone really wanted to hurt these guys." Alex felt his stomach twist into knots. This was supposed to be a routine patrol mission around the outer planets. Nobody had mentioned they might run into aliens, let alone aliens who were already having a bad day. Sir Alex spoke up, his voice cracking slightly. "Shouldn't we call for backup before we do anything?" Captain Johnson turned to look at him. She was tough as nails, the kind of person who could stare down a charging bull and make it apologize. "Son, by the time backup gets here, whoever's inside that ship will either be dead or long gone. We're the only help they've got." The captain made her decision quickly. "Rodriguez, Williams, Chen, you're with me. We're going aboard to offer assistance. Everyone else, keep the ship ready for a quick exit if things go sideways." Alex's hands were shaking as he put on his spacesuit. He'd trained for this, sure, but training and the real thing were completely different. Training didn't make your heart feel like it was trying to escape through your throat. The alien ship's airlock was massive, easily 3 times the size of anything humans built. As they stepped inside, Alex noticed that the walls weren't made of regular metal. They seemed to shimmer and change color depending on how the light hit them, like looking at oil floating on water. "Stay close and keep your weapons ready," Captain Johnson whispered. "We don't know what we're walking into." They moved through corridors that were both beautiful and terrifying. The walls curved in impossible ways, and there were symbols carved into them that seemed to glow with their own inner light. Alex found himself staring at the symbols, and for some crazy reason, they almost looked familiar. Like words he'd seen in a dream he couldn't quite remember. The deeper they went, the more damage they saw. Blast marks on the walls, strange alien. Equipment that had been torn apart, and worst of all, bodies. The aliens were tall and graceful, with silver skin that had delicate patterns running along it like tattoos made of light. Even dead, they looked magnificent. "Poor things," Dr. Williams murmured. "They put up quite a fight." They found survivors in what looked like the fanciest room on the ship. It was huge, with a ceiling that showed stars moving across it like a living painting. Crystal formations grew from the floors and walls, blowing softly and filling the air with a sound like distant singing in the center of the room. 3 aliens were still alive, but barely. 2 of them were clearly guards, dressed in armor that looked like it was grown rather than made. They were breathing heavily, green blood seeping from their wounds. But it was the 3rd alien that made Alex's breath catch in his throat. She was clearly someone important. Her silver skin seemed to glow brighter than the others, and the light patterns on her body were more complex, like living artwork. She was tall and elegant, with large eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of centuries. Despite being obviously hurt, she carried herself like royalty. When the aliens saw the humans approaching, the guards struggled to raise their weapons, but they were too weak. The female alien said something in a voice that sounded like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Alex stepped forward before he could stop himself. "We're here to help," he said, holding up his hands to show he meant no harm. The alien woman's eyes went wide with surprise. She stared at Alex like she'd seen a ghost, her mouth falling open. She said something else in her musical language, and Alex felt a strange tingling in his mind, like someone was gently touching his thoughts. Suddenly, she was speaking perfect English, though her voice still had that musical quality. You can understand us." I think so," Alex stammered, not really understanding how this was possible. The alien woman struggled to sit up straighter. her guards moving protectively closer despite their injuries. She studied Alex's face with an intensity that made him feel like she was reading his soul. "Possible," she whispered, and the words seemed to echo in the crystal chamber. "You carry the mark. After all these centuries, we finally find one who bears the ancient sign." Captain Johnson stepped forward. "Ma'am, I'm Captain Johnson of the Earth Defense Force. We detected your ship in distress and came to offer assistance. Who are you and what happened here?" The alien woman never took her eyes off Alex. When she spoke again, her voice carried an authority that made everyone in the room stand a little straighter. "I am Princess Zara of the Velkari Empire, daughter of the Supreme Regent. We were attacked by space raiders while traveling to a diplomatic meeting." She paused, her glowing eyes still fixed on Alex. But that is no longer the most important matter at hand. She raised one graceful hand and pointed directly at Alex. Her voice rang out clearly, filling the chamber with its musical tones. "This young human belongs to me."
I.
The words hit the room like a bomb going off. Captain Johnson's hand moved toward her weapon. Dr. Williams took a step back in shock, and Alex felt the world spinning around him like he was falling down a very deep hole. "What did you just say?" Captain Johnson demanded, her voice sharp with authority and growing anger. But Princess Zara didn't back down. If anything, she seemed to grow more regal, more commanding. "By the ancient laws of my people, by the bond that transcends species and death itself, this human is bound to me. He is mine, and I am his, whether he understands it yet or not." Alex opened his mouth to say something, anything, but no words came out. He could feel something changing inside him, like a door in his mind had just been opened for the first time. When he looked at the princess, he felt a pull unlike anything he'd ever experienced. Like she was the missing piece of a puzzle he didn't even know he'd been trying to solve. The alien guards, despite their wounds, began moving to form a protective circle around Alex, as if obeying some instinct deeper than conscious thought. "Now wait just a minute," Captain Johnson said, raising her weapon. "Nobody belongs to anybody here. We came to help, not to hand over one of our people to some alien princess." Princess Zara's eyes flashed with something dangerous, and the crystals around the room began to glow brighter. "You do not understand what you are interfering with, human captain. This is bigger than your small minds can grasp." Alex finally found his voice. "What's happening to me?" he asked, his words barely above a whisper. The princess looked at him with something that might have been pity, or perhaps understanding. "You are awakening, young warrior. The bond calls to both of us, and neither time nor space nor the prejudices of our peoples can stop what has already begun." As if to prove her point, Alex felt another wave of that strange, tingling sensation wash over him, and for just a moment, he could have sworn he felt what the princess was feeling: hope, fear, determination, and something else he couldn't quite name. The standoff continued, with weapons drawn and tensions rising, while somewhere in the distance, the sound of approaching ships echoed through space. Whether they were friends or enemies, nobody could say, but one thing was certain: nothing would ever be the same again. The medical bay on the Starlight had never seen anything like this. Princess Zara lay on one examination table, while Alex sat on another. Both of them hooked up to machines that beeped and hummed in ways that made everyone nervous. Dr. Williams kept staring at the readings like they were showing her impossible math problems. "This can't be right," she muttered for the 10th time in an hour, adjusting her glasses and squinting at the screens. "Captain, you need to see this." Captain Johnson walked over, her boots clicking against the metal floor. She'd been in a foul mood ever since they'd brought the princess aboard 3 hours ago. Having an alien royal guest was bad enough, but having that guest claim ownership of one of her crew members was giving her a headache that wouldn't quit. "What am I looking at, Doc?" the captain asked, crossing her arms. Dr. Williams pointed to 2 monitors showing brain scans. "These are Alex's brain waves from yesterday, during his regular health check." She switched to another screen. "And these are from 20 minutes ago." The difference was striking. Yesterday's scan looked normal, with regular patterns that rose and fell like gentle hills. Today's scan looked like a lightning storm, with spikes and waves that seemed to dance across the screen in complex patterns. It's like his brain is learning, Dr. Williams said, her voice filled with wonder and worry. And look at this. She pulled up Princess Zara's scan. See how they match? Door. When her brainwaves spike, his do too. When hers calm down, his follow. It's like they're having a conversation we can't hear. Captain Johnson felt a chill run down her spine. Are you telling me that alien princess is messing with my soldier's mind? I don't think she's doing it on purpose, Dr. Williams replied. It seems to be happening automatically, like breathing. Neither of them can control it. From across the room, Princess Zara spoke up. Her voice still had that musical quality, but now it sounded tired. Your healer speaks truth, Captain. The bond is not something we create, it's something that already exists, waiting to be discovered. Alex sat up on his examination table, pulling the sensors off his forehead. Can someone please explain what's happening to me? Because I'm starting to feel like I'm going crazy. The princess turned her large, glowing eyes toward him. You are not losing your sanity, young warrior. You are finding something that has been missing your entire life. What's that supposed to mean? Alex asked, frustrated. Before the princess could answer, the ship's communication system crackled to life. Captain Johnson to the bridge immediately. We have incoming transmissions from Earth Command. The captain's face went pale. Dr. Williams. Keep monitoring them. I'll be right back. She paused at the doorway, and nobody leaves this room until I say so. After the captain left, an uncomfortable silence filled the medical bay. Alex stared at his hands, noticing that they seemed steadier than before, like the nervousness that had plagued him his whole life was slowly fading away. You have questions? Princess Zara said softly. I have about 1,000,000 questions, Alex replied, starting with why I can suddenly understand your language when I've never heard it before in my life. The princess struggled to sit up, wincing from her injuries. Among my people, there is an ancient law called the Shantalar. In your language, it means soul binding. It is rare, perhaps one occurrence in 1,000,000 lifetimes. Dr. Williams looked up from her instruments. You're talking about some kind of psychic connection? Not psychic, the princess corrected. Deeper than that. When two souls are meant to be joined, they recognize each other across any distance, any difference. Species, culture, time itself cannot prevent it. Alex shook his head. That sounds like fairy tale stuff. There has to be a scientific explanation. Princess. Zara smiled, and for the first time Alex saw how beautiful she was when she wasn't in pain or danger. Your people always want to explain mystery with facts and numbers. But some things exist beyond your instruments and calculations. Dr. Williams was taking notes as fast as she could write. Let's say hypothetically, this bonding thing is real. What does it mean for Alex? It means his life as he knew it is. Over, the princess said simply. He will begin to change, to grow beyond what humans normally become. His mind will expand, his understanding will deepen, and his heart will learn to feel things he never imagined possible. And what if I don't want to change? Alex asked. Though even as he said it, he knew it was too late. He could already feel something different inside him, like a seed that had been planted and was starting to grow. The princess looked sad. Choice is an illusion when it comes to the Shantalar. You can fight it, but fighting will only cause both of us pain. The bond will complete itself whether we cooperate or not. Captain Johnson's voice came over the intercom again. Dr. Williams. Alex. Princess. ... Whatever your name is. Get to the conference room now. We have a problem. The conference room was crowded with the ship's senior officers. The main screen showed the stern face of Admiral Peterson from Earth Command. Alex had never spoken to anyone above the rank of captain before, and the Admiral's expression made it clear this wasn't going to be a friendly chat. Princess Zara, the Admiral began, his voice formal and cold. I am Admiral Peterson, Commander of Earth's Defense Forces. We need to discuss this ... situation. The princess had somehow managed to make herself look regal even while injured and sitting in a chair designed for humans. I greet you, Admiral Peterson. I am Princess Zara, first daughter of Supreme Regent Kethmer of the Velkari Empire. Right. The Admiral continued, Here's our problem. We've never had contact with your people before, and suddenly you show up claiming ownership of one of our soldiers. From our perspective, this looks like either an invasion attempt or some kind of alien mind control. Princess Zara's eyes flashed with anger. Your soldier is not my prisoner, Admiral. He is my destined partner, chosen by forces older than either of our civilizations. See, that's exactly the kind of thing that makes us nervous, Admiral Peterson replied. We're going to need some proof that this isn't just an elaborate trick to kidnap our people. Alex felt a surge of emotion that he realized wasn't entirely his own. The princess was feeling insulted and frustrated, and somehow he could sense it as clearly as if she'd spoken the words aloud. Admiral, Alex said, surprising everyone, including himself, by speaking up. What if it's real? What if this bonding thing is actually happening? The Admiral's eyes narrowed. Son, has this alien done something to your mind? You don't sound like yourself. Dr. Williams cleared her throat. Sir, if I may. The medical evidence suggests that something unprecedented is occurring. Their brain patterns are synchronizing in ways we've never seen before. It's possible we're witnessing a genuine biological phenomenon. Or it's possible we're being manipulated by advanced alien technology, the Admiral countered. Either way, we can't allow it to continue. Alex, you're to be placed in isolation immediately for your own protection and for detailed study. No, Princess Zara said, her voice carrying such authority that everyone in the room felt it like a physical force. Separation will harm both of us. The bonding process, once begun, cannot be safely interrupted. And what happens if we ignore your warnings? Captain Johnson asked. The princess looked directly at Alex, and he felt that strange tingling sensation again. Stronger this time. The incomplete bond will cause psychological damage to both participants. Pain, madness, and eventually death. Alex's stomach dropped. Death. The Chantelar is not a casual connection, the princess explained. It binds souls at the deepest level. To tear apart what has begun to join is like tearing apart the fabric of life itself. Admiral Peterson leaned forward on the screen. That sounds awfully convenient. Either we let you take our soldier, or he dies. That's not much of a choice. There is a third option, the princess said quietly. Allow us to travel to my homeworld. Together, let my people's healers and wise ones examine the bond properly. If it proves false or harmful, they will safely sever it. If it proves true, then Alex and I must complete the bonding ceremony, or both of our lives will be forfeit. And the room fell silent, except for the humming of the ship's systems. Alex could feel everyone's eyes on him, waiting for him to make the decision that would change everything. How long do we have? He asked. Princess Zara closed her eyes, as if listening to something only she could hear. The initial phase will complete within 7 days, regardless of our location. After that, we must be together permanently, or the bond will begin consuming our life force. Admiral Peterson's face was grim. This is a hell of a situation. I need time to consult with the Science Council and the diplomatic corps. Time is something we may not have much of, the princess warned. And Admiral, my father's ships are already searching for me. When they find us, they will expect answers about why his daughter is being held against her will by an unknown species. Captain Johnson rubbed her temples. Just great. So now, we might have an interstellar incident on our hands too. Alex stood up, surprising himself with his newfound confidence. I'll go. Everyone turned to stare at him. I'll go to their homeworld. He continued. If this bonding thing is real, then I need to understand it. If it's some kind of trick, then maybe I can figure out what they really want and stop it before anyone else gets hurt. The journey to the Valkyrie homeworld took 3 days, and Alex spent most of that time trying not to throw up. It wasn't space sickness that bothered him. He'd gotten used to that months ago. It was the constant feeling that his brain was being rewired while he was still using it. You're fighting it again, Princess Zara said from the chair beside his bed in the medical bay. She'd insisted on staying close to him after Dr. Williams noticed that distance made both their conditions worse. It feels like someone's moving. Furniture around in my head, Alex complained, pressing his palms against his temples. And I keep hearing things that aren't there. You're hearing my thoughts, the princess explained gently. It will be overwhelming at first, but you'll learn to filter them out. Captain Johnson entered the medical bay carrying a cup of coffee and looking like she hadn't slept in days. "How's our patient doing?" "Better," Dr. Williams replied, checking her instruments. "The synchronization is stabilizing. Whatever this bonding process is, it seems to be adapting to his human physiology." Alex sat up slowly. "I can understand more of their language now. Sometimes I know what she's going to say before she says." That's progress," Princess Zara said with a small smile. "By the time we reach my homeworld, you should be able to communicate with any of my people." The ship's intercom crackled. "All hands, prepare for arrival at Velkari space. We're being escorted by Imperial vessels." Through the medical bay's small window, Alex caught his first glimpse of the Velkari fleet. The ships were massive and elegant, looking more like flying works of art than military vessels. They seemed to dance through space rather than simply moving through it. "Wow," he breathed. "They're beautiful." "Wait until you see the capital," Princess Zara said, and Alex could feel her pride and excitement mixing with his own nervousness. An hour later, Alex stood in the shuttle bay wearing the nicest uniform. Captain Johnson could find it still looked shabby compared to the formal robes. Princess Zara had changed into flowing fabric that seemed to capture starlight and hold it. "Remember," Captain Johnson said quietly, "you're representing all of humanity up there. Don't do anything stupid." "Thanks for the confidence boost," Alex replied. Trying to hide his nervousness behind humor, Dr. Williams handed him a small communication device. "This will let you stay in contact with us. If anything goes wrong, anything at all, you call us." Immediately, the shuttle that came to pick them up was unlike anything Alex had ever seen. It was smooth and organic looking, like it had been grown rather than built. The pilot was a Valkyrie with intricate light patterns covering his arms, and he bowed deeply when he saw Princess Zara. "Your Highness," he said, in that musical language Alex was beginning to understand. "Your father awaits your return with great anxiety." The flight down to the planet's surface took Alex's breath away. The Velkari homeworld was covered in crystal cities that rose from the ground like massive flowers. Towers twisted gracefully into the sky, connected by bridges of solid light. Gardens floated in midair, defying gravity and logic. "How is any of this possible?" Alex asked, staring out the window in amazement. "My people learned long ago to work with natural forces rather than against them," Princess Zara explained. "We grow our cities the way you grow plants." The royal palace was the most magnificent thing Alex had ever seen. It was carved from a single enormous crystal that seemed to contain an entire rainbow. Light flowed through its walls like liquid color, creating patterns that were both beautiful and somehow alive as they walked through the palace halls. Alex noticed that other Velkari stopped to stare at him. Some looked curious, others seemed worried or even angry. He could feel Princess Zara's tension growing with each disapproving glance they received. "Are they all upset about me being here?" he asked quietly. "Some are," she admitted. "My people have never encountered humans before, and there are those who believe mixing with other species weakens our bloodline." The throne room was vast and filled with Velkari nobles wearing elaborate robes that sparkled with living light. At the far end, on a throne that looked like it was carved from solidified starfire, Saturday, the most impressive alien Alex had ever seen, Supreme Regent Kethmer was tall, even by Velkari standards, with silver skin that seemed to glow with its own inner light. His eyes were ancient and wise, but Alex could see the worry in them when they looked at his daughter. "Zara," the regent said, his voice carrying easily across the enormous room, "you have caused much concern with your disappearance, princess." Zara bowed formally. "Father, I present to you Alex Rodriguez of the human species. He is the one the ancient bonds have chosen for me." A murmur ran through the assembled nobles, some sounding excited, others clearly disapproving. Alex felt like a bug under a microscope. As hundreds of alien eyes studied him, "Approach, young human," the regent commanded. Alex's legs felt like jelly, but he managed to walk forward without falling down. When he reached the base of the throne, he wasn't sure whether to bow, salute, or just stand there like an idiot. The regent studied him for a long moment. "You are very young. Yes, sir, Alex replied, grateful that his voice didn't crack. And you claim to be bonded to my daughter? I don't really understand what's happening to me, Alex said honestly, but something definitely is happening. Can feel what she feels sometimes, and I'm starting to understand your language without anyone teaching me. An elderly Valkyrie stepped forward from the crowd. He wore robes covered in complex symbols and carried himself with the authority of someone used to being listened to. Your Majesty, he said, I am Elder HFY, keeper of the ancient laws. If I may examine the human? The regent nodded, and the elder approached Alex. His eyes seemed to look right through him. Alex felt that familiar tingling sensation, stronger than ever before. Remarkable, Elder, HFY murmured. The resonance patterns are clearly visible to those who know how to look. This human carries the mark of the Chantelar as clearly as if it were written on his forehead. Is it genuine? The regent asked. Yes, the elder replied, but incomplete. The bonding process has begun, but not finished. They must undergo the trial of resonance to prove the connection's authenticity and determine its strength. Princess Zara stepped forward. Father, I request permission to undergo the trial with my chosen partner. The regent was quiet for a long moment, clearly weighing his options. Finally, he spoke. The trial is dangerous, daughter. If the bond proves false, both participants can suffer permanent harm. And if we don't complete it, Princess Zara replied, we will both die within days. The choice has already been made for us. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. Wait, what exactly is this trial? Elder HFY turned to him with a grave expression. The trial of resonance connects to minds completely, allowing them to share. Not just thoughts, but memories, fears, and deepest truths. If the bond is real, you will emerge stronger and more connected than ever. If it is false, he didn't finish the sentence, but his meaning was clear. How dangerous are we talking about? Alex asked, trying to keep his voice steady. Some who attempt the trial do not return with their sanity intact, the elder admitted. The mind was not meant to hold two sets of memories, 2 lifetimes of experience. Only those with the strongest bonds can survive the complete merging. Alex looked at Princess Zara and felt that pull toward her stronger than ever. In her eyes, he saw determination, fear, and something else. Complete faith in their connection. When do we start? He asked. The regent stood from his throne, his impressive height making him tower over everyone in the room. The trial will take place at dawn tomorrow. Tonight, you will both rest and prepare. Elder HFY will explain the process and help you understand what you're about to attempt. As the crowd began to disperse, Alex noticed a group of Valkyrie nobles talking quietly in a corner. Their expressions were dark, and they kept glancing in his direction. One of them, a military officer with scars across his silver skin, seemed particularly hostile. Who's that? Alex asked Princess Zara quietly. She followed his gaze, and her face grew troubled. General Mordock leads the faction that opposes any mixing with other species. He believes humans are primitive, and that bonding with you would weaken our royal bloodline. Great, Alex muttered. So I've got alien racists to worry about too. Mordock is dangerous, Princess Zara warned. He has many supporters in the military and among the noble houses. If the trial tomorrow fails, he will use it as proof that humans should be avoided or eliminated. Alex felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders. This wasn't just about him and Princess Zara anymore. The future relationship between humans and Valkyrie might depend on what happened in that trial room tomorrow. No pressure, he said with a weak smile. Princess Zara took his hand, and Alex felt a warm sensation flowed through him, calming his nerves and steadying his resolve. We will face tomorrow together, she said softly. Whatever happens, we will face it as one. As they walked through the crystal halls toward their quarters, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. General Mordock and his supporters were planning something, and Alex doubted they intended to wait for the trial results before making their move. Alex woke up before dawn, his heart racing from a dream he couldn't quite remember. Something about running through dark corridors while voices whispered warnings in languages he'd never heard before. The guest quarters in the Crystal Palace were beautiful, but alien. And he'd spent most of the night staring at the ceiling that showed a slow-moving display of distant stars. A soft knock at his door made him jump. "Come in," he called, expecting to see Princess Zara, or maybe Elder Vexhai, instead. A young Velkari servant entered, carrying a tray of food that glowed softly in the dim light.
"Breakfast."
"Honored guest," she said in heavily accented English. "The princess requests you eat well before the trial." The food looked nothing like anything from Earth. There were fruits that sparkled like jewels, bread that seemed to float slightly above the plate, and a drink that tasted like liquid starlight. Alex ate mechanically, his stomach too nervous to appreciate the exotic flavors. Another knock came at his door, firmer this time. "Enter," Alex said, expecting Princess Zara. Instead, 3 Velkari soldiers in dark armor stepped into the room. Alex recognized the lead figure immediately. General Mordock, the military officer who'd been glaring at him yesterday. Up close, the general was even more intimidating, with battle scars crossing his silver skin and eyes that seemed to burn with inner fire. "Human General," Mordock said, his voice cold as space ice. "We need to talk." Alex stood up slowly, wishing he had some kind of weapon. "What about?" "About the mistake you're making," the general replied, stepping closer. "You think you understand what's happening to you, but you're just a primitive creature being manipulated by forces you can't comprehend." "I may be primitive," Alex said, trying to keep his voice steady, "but I'm not stupid." "What do you really want?" General Mordock smiled, but it wasn't a friendly expression. "I want you to leave. Walk away from this trial, return to your little ship, and never come back to our space. Do this, and I'll make sure you and your people are left in peace. If I don't?" The general's hand moved to the weapon at his side. "Then you'll discover that not all Valkyrie believe in the ancient laws. Some of us prefer more direct solutions to problems." Before Alex could respond, the door burst open and Princess Zara rushed in, flanked by her own guards. With anger when she saw General Mordock, "Uncle," she said, her voice sharp with disapproval. "What are you doing here?" Alex blinked in surprise. "Uncle?" "General Mordock is my father's brother," Princess Zara explained, never taking her eyes off the military leader. "And he knows better than to threaten my chosen partner." The general laughed bitterly. "Chosen partner? Zara, you're throwing away everything our family stands for. This human will weaken our bloodline and make us vulnerable to our enemies. The bond chooses us, not the other way around," Princess Zara replied firmly. "You taught me that when I was a child. I taught you many things," General Mordock said sadly. "I also taught you to think with your head instead of your heart. This human has done something to your mind." Alex felt a surge of anger that surprised him with its intensity. "I haven't done anything to anyone. This whole bonding thing was her idea, remember?" "Silence," the general snapped. "You have no right to speak in the presence of royalty." "Actually," Princess Zara said coolly, "if the bond is real, he has every right. By our laws, a bonded partner shares the royal status of their chosen mate." General Mordock's face darkened. "If the bond is real, that's what we're testing today, isn't it?" He turned to Alex with a predatory smile. "The trial of resonance has killed stronger beings than you, human. Even if you survive, you may not be the same person who enters that chamber." With that warning, the general and his soldiers left, leaving Alex feeling like he'd just been threatened by a very polite tornado. "Don't listen to him," Princess Zara said, but Alex could hear the worry in her voice. "Is he right about the trial? Being dangerous?" Alex asked. Princess Zara hesitated before answering. "Yes, but not in the way he means. The danger isn't from the trial itself. It's from what we might discover about ourselves." An hour later, Alex found himself standing outside the trial chamber, a circular room carved from black crystal that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Elder Vexhai was making final preparations, adjusting strange devices that hummed with energy. "The process is simple in concept," the elder explained as he worked. "You and the princess will be connected to the resonance amplifiers. These devices will merge your conscious minds, allowing you to share thoughts, memories, and emotions completely. "What exactly are we looking for?" Alex asked, trying not to think about all the embarrassing memories Princess Zara was about to see. "Compatibility," Elder Vexhai replied. "True bonding partners complement each other perfectly. Their minds fit together like pieces of an ancient puzzle. If you are truly bonded, your consciousness will merge smoothly. If not," he didn't finish the sentence. "If not, we both go crazy," Alex finished for him. "That is one possible outcome," the elder admitted. "Others include permanent memory loss, split personality, or complete mental shutdown." "You really know how to make a guy feel confident," Alex muttered. Princess Zara took his hand, and Alex felt that familiar warm sensation flow through him. "We face this together," she said softly. "Whatever happens, we face it as one." The trial chamber was eerily quiet as they took their positions on platforms facing each other. The resonance amplifiers looked like crowns made of living crystal, and when Elder Vexhai placed them on their heads, Alex felt a tingling sensation that quickly grew into something much stronger. "Beginning resonance sequence," the elder announced from his control station outside the chamber. At first, nothing seemed to happen, and Alex began to hear whispers at the edge of his consciousness, thoughts that weren't his own. He could sense Princess Zara's presence in his mind, curious and gentle, exploring his memories like someone carefully examining precious artifacts. The sensation was overwhelming. He could feel her childhood loneliness, the weight of royal expectations, and her desperate desire to find someone who understood her. In return, she experienced his memories of growing up without parents, his struggles to fit in with the other soldiers, and his secret dream of finding somewhere he truly belonged. "The connection is stabilizing." Elder Vexhai's voice seemed to come from very far away, increasing resonance to level 2. Suddenly, Alex wasn't just sharing thoughts with Princess Zara, he was experiencing her entire life. He felt what it was like to grow up in the Crystal Palace, surrounded by servants who treated him like a delicate flower instead of a person. He experienced the frustration of being trained for diplomatic duties, while longing for adventure and real connection. At the same time, Princess Zara was living through his memories. She felt his fear during his first space mission, his pride when he passed his military exams, and his deep longing for a family who would accept him as he was. "Level 3, Elder Vexhai announced, and the world exploded into color and sensation. Alex and Princess Zara were no longer separate beings. Their consciousness had merged so completely that he couldn't tell where his thoughts ended and hers began. They were experiencing each other's emotions, dreams, and fears as if they were their own. In this merged state, Alex saw visions of possible futures. He saw himself and Princess Zara working together to build bridges between their species. He saw human and Velkari children playing together in crystal gardens under alien stars. He saw himself older and wiser, standing beside her as they faced challenges that would test both their peoples. But he also saw darker possibilities. He saw General Mordok leading a military coup, saw human ships burning in space while Velkari cities crumbled under attack. He saw himself and Princess Zara dying together, their bond incomplete and their dreams unfulfilled. "Something's wrong." Elder Vexhai's voice cut through the visions. "The resonance patterns are fluctuating wildly." Through the shared consciousness, Alex felt Princess Zara's alarm. Something was interfering with the trial. Some outside force was trying to disrupt their connection. Suddenly, the chamber door burst open and General Mordok strode in, flanked by soldiers carrying weapons that crackled with energy. "End the trial," the general commanded. "By order of the military council, this dangerous experiment stops now." "You have no authority here," Elder Vexi protested. "The trial is under royal protection." "Not anymore," General Mordok replied. "This human represents a threat to our species' purity and must be eliminated before the contamination spreads." Through their merged consciousness, Alex felt Princess Zara's rage and determination. Even connected to the resonance amplifiers, she was trying to stand and fight for him. "Stay connected," Alex thought to her through their bond. "Let me handle this." To everyone's surprise, Alex began to laugh. The sound echoed strangely in the crystal chamber, and the resonance amplifiers made it seem to come from everywhere at once. "What's so funny, human?" General Mordock demanded. "You are," Alex replied, and his voice carried harmonics that seemed to resonate with the crystal walls themselves. "You're afraid of me, but you don't even understand what I'm becoming." The crystal chamber filled with a light so bright it seemed to come from inside Alex's bones. Through their merged consciousness, he and Princess Zara felt the ancient crystal network awakening, responding to their completed bond like a sleeping DOS. Giant stretching after centuries of rest, General Mordock's soldiers raised their weapons. But something strange happened when they tried to fire. The energy beams simply stopped in midair, hanging like frozen lightning before dissolving into harmless sparkles of light. "It's impossible," the general breathed, staring at his malfunctioning weapons. Alex could feel Princess Zara's amazement, mixing with his own as they realized what was happening. Their bonded consciousness wasn't just connected to the crystal network, it was controlling it. The living crystals that powered the entire Valkyrie civilization were responding to their combined will. "The prophecy," Elder Vexai whispered, from his control station. "After 1,000 years, the prophecy is finally coming true." "What prophecy?" Alex asked, though his voice now seemed to echo with harmonics that made the chamber walls sing in response. Through their shared memories, Princess Zara showed him ancient texts she'd studied as a child. Images of two figures, one human, one Valkyrie, standing together while light flowed between worlds. Stories of a bonding so powerful it would unite civilizations and prepare them for challenges that would test the very fabric of space itself. "You're making this up," General Mordock snarled, but Alex could hear the uncertainty in his voice. "Ancient prophecies are just stories told to children." The chamber doors suddenly burst open again, and Supreme Regent Kethmer strode in with a full guard detail. His face was a mask of royal authority, but Alex could sense the worry and confusion behind it. "Father," Princess Zara said, her voice carrying new strength and confidence, "the trial is complete. The bond is real." The regent looked at his daughter and Alex, still connected to the resonance amplifiers, but now glowing with soft crystalline light. "I can see that. The question is, what does it mean for our people?" Before anyone could answer, the chamber's communication system activated. Captain Johnson's voice crackled through the speakers, tense with urgency. "This is Captain Johnson of the Earth vessel Starlight. We're detecting massive energy readings from the planet's surface. Alex, if you can hear this, we need to know you're okay." Alex found he could speak directly through the crystal network, his voice reaching every communication device on the planet. "Captain, I'm fine. Better than fine, actually. Something incredible is happening here. Son, your energy signature is showing up on our scanners from orbit." Dr. Williams' voice joined the conversation. "Whatever's happening to you, it's big enough to see from space." Through the network, Alex could sense ships approaching, not just the human vessel, but dozens of Valkyrie military craft responding to the unusual energy readings. General Mordock's rebellion was about to become a much larger problem. "Uncle," Princess Zara said, turning to General Mordock with sadness. In her glowing eyes, "You have a choice. Stand with us as we enter a new age, or stand against the future itself." The general's face twisted with anger and fear. "You're not my niece anymore. You're some kind of hybrid monster, contaminated by human weakness." "And exactly who I was meant to be," Princess Zara replied calmly. "So is Alex." Alex felt the truth of her words resonate through their bond. He was changing, becoming something new, but he wasn't losing his humanity. Instead, he was gaining something that made him more than he'd ever been before: understanding, empathy, and the ability to see connections between all living things. The chamber shook suddenly as explosions echoed from somewhere in the palace. General Mordock smiled grimly. "My forces are already moving. We'll end this contamination before it spreads." "You're too late," Elder Vixa said quietly. "The bonding is complete. Nothing can reverse it now." Through the crystal network, Alex could sense the battle raging outside. Mordock's soldiers were fighting palace guards throughout the Crystal City, while civilian Valkyrie fled in terror. The rebellion was tearing apart the very civilization they claimed to be protecting. "This has to stop," Alex said, feeling Princess Zara's agreement flow through their connection together. They reached out through the crystal network their combined consciousness, touching every Valkyrie mind on the planet. It wasn't invasion or control. It was invitation. They shared their memories, their emotions, and their vision of what the future could become. Alex showed them human dreams of exploration and discovery. Princess Zara revealed Valkyrie hopes for growth and understanding. Together, they painted a picture of two species working as partners, each contributing their unique strengths to face whatever challenges the universe might bring. The effect was immediate and profound. Throughout the city, weapons stopped firing as soldiers on both sides felt the truth of the bond. This wasn't contamination or weakness. It was evolution. The next step forward for both civilizations. General Mordok staggered as the wave of shared consciousness washed over him. For a moment, his hard expression cracked, and Alex saw the frightened, lonely being underneath all that anger. "I remember you as a child," the general said to Princess Zara, his voice broken. "Or so. Full of hope. So eager to make the world better. I thought I was protecting that little girl." "You were," Princess Zara replied gently. "But that little girl grew up, and now she's ready to help change the world in ways we never imagined." Supreme Regent Kethmer stepped forward, his expression thoughtful. "If this bond is real, if it truly represents our future, then we must embrace it. But the galaxy is vast, and not everyone will welcome this change." Through the network, Alex sensed other presences, alien civilizations from across the stars, some curious, others hostile. The bonding had sent ripples through space itself, announcing to the universe that something new had been born. "We'll face whatever comes," Alex said, feeling more confident than he ever had in his life. "Together." Captain Johnson's voice came through the communications again. "Alex, we're reading energy signatures approaching from deep space. Lots of them. I think word of what's happening is spreading." Alex looked at Princess Zara, seeing his own determination reflected in her glowing eyes. They had started something that couldn't be stopped, a bridge between worlds that would change everything. "Let them come," Princess Zara said, her hand finding Alex's. "We're ready." The months that followed became known as the Age of First Bonding. Alex and Princess Zara traveled between worlds, demonstrating that different species could work together without losing what made them unique. Other bonded pairs began to emerge, human and Valkyrie, but also members of species that had never met before, all connected by the same mysterious force that had brought Alex and Zara together. General Mordok. His rebellion ended, chose exile, rather than witness what he saw as the end of Valkyrie purity. But many of his former followers stayed, eventually coming to understand that strength came from unity, not isolation. Dr. Williams established the first joint human Valkyrie research station, studying the bonding phenomenon and discovering that it was preparing the galaxy for something bigger. Ancient warnings spoke of challenges that would require all civilizations working together to survive. Captain Johnson was promoted to admiral and put in charge of the new interspecies defense force, while Elder Vex High became the first minister of bonded affairs, helping other newly connected pairs navigate their transformations. Alex, now 21, had grown into his role as cultural ambassador with natural ease. He could speak dozens of alien languages fluently and had developed an almost supernatural ability to resolve conflicts between different species. The frightened young soldier who had stumbled into an alien princess's life was gone, placed by a confident leader who could see the connections that bound all life together. Princess Zara had found the purpose she'd always searched for. No longer just a royal daughter, she had become a pioneer of galactic cooperation, working tirelessly to build bridges between civilizations that had never trusted each other before. Their love story, which had begun with a declaration of ownership, had evolved into something much greater, a partnership that was helping to reshape the entire galaxy. They belonged to each other, yes, but more importantly, they belonged to the future they were building together. Standing on the observation deck of their shared residence, the station that floated between Earth and the Valkyrie homeworld, Alex and Princess Zara watched ships from a dozen different species docked peacefully side by side. "Do you ever miss being ordinary?" Princess Zara asked, her hand warm in his. Alex smiled, thinking of the scared 19-year-old who had first looked into her eyes. "I was never ordinary. I just didn't know it yet." Through their bond, he felt her laughter mix with his own, and beyond that, the gentle hum of thousands of other bonded pairs across the galaxy, all working together to write a new chapter in the story of the universe. The alien princess had looked at the youngest, human soldier and declared he belonged to her. She had been right, but not in the way anyone expected. They belonged to each other, and together they belonged to tomorrow.